The third step in the job search is to know how to tell your career story, the story about your skills, experiences, knowledge, and accomplishments relevant to each individual job you're applying for. You'll tell this story in different ways across different mediums. How and what you communicate on your social media profiles will be different than what you communicate in a cover letter, which will be different still from the stories you tell in an in-person interview. Let's take two storytelling opportunities, the resume and the interview, and look at them a little more closely. The resume is the best place to share your quantifiable accomplishments related to the job you're applying to. Many people use their resume as a place to simply list a bunch of bullet points related to their duties or responsibilities for their past positions. Yes, employers want to know that you've done work similar to what they're hiring you to do, but more than that, they want to know how well you did your duties and the outcomes or impact of your work. What we're talking about is the difference between this. The second example is much better with the quantifiable amounts and outcomes included. Be sure to include numbers and outcomes when possible to help your resume stand out at a glance. The wording of your bullet point will always change slightly based on the job description and skills you want to highlight. But the importance of showing impact and using some quantitative descriptors will always remain. Asking questions like, what was the outcome of the project? How many people were trained? How much money was saved? Will help identify appropriate quantifiable data to include. In order to use numbers, you need to have the numbers. So whether you were just finishing pre-service training or attending an in-service training, or about to, or just recently did, close your service, be sure to make notes as of the many numbers that you can. The earlier you can start capturing baseline levels or noting the participants at your events or trainings, the better. You likely are already tracking or have tracked this information for your VRS as required by Peace Corps. So why not make sure that effort also benefits you by getting it into your resume? The purpose of a resume is to get you an interview. And the interview is, of course, another area you're going to tell your story, the story of your career, and relate it to the position you're applying for. Many interview questions today are behavioral questions, the kind that start with, tell me about a time you fill in the blank. It might be, tell me about a time you demonstrated leadership skills in a team environment. Or tell me about your experience demonstrating communication skills in liaising between diverse stakeholders. These are each behavioral questions where you'll prove what skill you have by sharing a concrete example. Solid answers to these behavioral questions often follow the STAR methodology. Just like the quantitative data from your service, being in the middle of your service or having recently completed your service is the best time to write down these situations, tasks, actions, and results. When thinking about the situation, think about what was going on. What was the situation you were addressing? The task means more, what was the activity you had to do, the challenge before you? And the action is more, what action did you take to resolve whatever situation was happening? And then, of course, the R, results. What was the outcome of your efforts? My advice would be to create a table with these 4 columns, STAR, and then add skills beforehand and lesson learned at the opposite end. When it comes time to prepare for an interview, you'll then easily be able to scan your table for stories from your experience that will demonstrate the skills you want to highlight to your potential interviewer. Your STAR answers to these behavioral interview questions will ensure you've given a complete and concise example to them. And commenting on your lessons learned will allow you to connect the transferable skills you developed at site to the potentially very different position you're applying for after your service. We have a host of resources that can help you improve and refine your career-related storytelling while you're job searching. But do yourself a favor now and make note of the important quantitative and qualitative building blocks of those stories to create more powerful cover letters, resumes, and interview responses, all integral parts of securing a great post-Peace Corps job.